G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map in the color orange, playing as the Chinese. It's 3DB. And on the north side of the map in the color green, playing as the Abbasid dynasty. It's Zerton. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lippany. This ain't any Lippany, this is EGC TV's Lippany. I don't know what's different about it, but I suspect it's a little bit more special than your standard Lippany. And of course, this is part of EGC TV's The Elite Classic. That is right. Now, there's some things I really love about EGC TV's new event that they've got. For anybody who missed... by the way, what is happening with B right here in the early game? Going for berries first? I don't know what that is all about. Anyway, we'll come back to that later. So, just to explain a little bit about how this event works, the Elite Classic. No mirror matches, no water maps. How good is that? How good is that? It is as vanilla as it gets. There's nothing crazy. It's literally just vanilla. Basically, imagine your ice cream. You know, the Neapolitan, the one that's got the chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry? They took the strawberry, scooped it out. Chocolate, they chopped that one off, and they just left you with vanilla. And then they did it to every other ice cream, every other ice cream container in the store. And that's all you get for the entire tournament. And I'll be honest, I kind of like it, because it reminds me of like your ladder environment. That's what I like to see. I like to see ladder environments replicated. And that's why I host Outback Octagon, because obviously, you know, I'm a big I'm a big Outback enjoyer, especially when it comes to ladders in the Outback. But anyway, welcome. I appreciate it's been a couple of days since we posted content on the channel, so I hope everybody's doing well. I'm looking forward to the next season of Age of Empires 4. I can say that much. I was actually doing some coaching today, and I saw that I have decayed. I'm not even kidding you. I've decayed by 200 rating. I was like, damn, that is a lot. But then I guess to be fair, I haven't played for like 2 months, so it's understandable that I would decay that much. But nonetheless, I'm still looking forward to the game today, because I reckon we're going to have an absolute ripper of a game. When it comes to this matchup, this is a matchup that is favored, in my opinion, towards the Chinese. But there's a couple of conditions that require that to be met. Number one, you get to Castle Age. Castle Age, you've got a really good timing as the Chinese against the Abbasid dynasty. If they do try and fight you in feudal, you're still going to be absolutely fine. But you've got to make sure that you don't commit to going Castle Age, and then they try and fight you in feudal. That's always a death sentence. But we do see the age ups now coming through. Looks like on the north side of the map, it's going to be just a classic economic wing coming out. So Zerton just going to be playing it pretty stock standard. We can see with regard to the opening, no wheelbarrow just yet. Still the 3 villagers on gold, which indicates that he's going to be thinking about, at the very least, a little bit of Fertile Crescent action. In fact, the fact that he's only got 3 vills on gold makes me think he only wants to go for Fertile Crescent, which is definitely a move I support. I do remember reading a post on Reddit, which was basically, guys, you shouldn't get anything except for Fertile Crescent before you build your second town center, because then you're just delaying every subsequent villager. And it's like, eventually you're going to get fresh food stuff. Eventually you're going to get your... wheelbarrow, and when those come in, they're kind of like static bonuses. Whereas if you're late on your second or your third town center, then you're missing out on vills for the rest of the game. So that's something to think about. Anyway, we'll ride back on board over on the south side of the map, as B is going to be going up with the Imperial Academy. Nice little position that he's got back here. I don't think he's going to be hitting the wood line, though. This is the consequence of throwing down that mill on the berries. You know, had he thrown the mill down on the backside of the TC, he could have hit 1, 2, 3 easily with the Imperial Academy. But now changing it up, moving it back, or moving the villagers over to sheep. I wonder what the decision-making process here is going for the berry bushes. That's an interesting decision. But we do see he's going to be going for the Song Dynasty. Now, I would expect that from Zerton, we're going to be seeing 3 TCs. And the reason why is because it's almost certain that you will see a 2 town center Song Dynasty play from B. And you don't want to be outscaled. It's definitely not one of those things that you like to be. If you start off a game and you say, you know what, I'm going to be outscaled this game. That makes sense to me. Nobody says that. No one says that at all. But we do see Fertile Crescent now coming through. I'm curious exactly what timing he's going to look for this second town center. I know that Abbasid dynasty used to be able to get some really wicked... Oh my, look at all of these sheep just sitting here. Nobody scouted this? Actually, no, it looks like B has scouted it, but take a look at that. Zerton just walks on in, picks it up right underneath the barbican, says, thank you very much. Nice little timing coming through from B, though. And we'll check in on that north side at that second town center. I expect that he's going to throw that second TC right down here on the stone and then get those vills straight back to work. Let's see exactly what he goes for. He should have enough for it very, very soon. And there we go, dropping off, moving the vills, and there's the second town center thrown down. So it is going to be 3 TCs. Remember, if you are going 3 TCs, it just makes sense to be throwing that town center down on the stone because the villagers just get back to work a lot quicker instead of moving all the way over, you know, dropping it down here and then moving back. You can be a little bit more flexible with the 3rd TC, but the 2nd TC always on the stone. Makes a lot of sense. But let's check back in on that south side as B is going to be looking to move in for his second town center shortly, I can imagine, because this is a fairly passive game so far. We've obviously got the Song Dynasty timing coming through, but he doesn't look too committed. I'd be surprised if he threw down an archery range right now, even though it would be perfect timing for it. Goes for the wheelbarrow, very early wheelbarrow that we're seeing out of China. This is such an interesting tech to go as China as well, especially this early, because obviously it's nice to have wheelbarrow, right? Like, villagers run faster. You get the tax rebate as well. That's another thing to remember. A really good micro management right now. You get that nice little tax rebate as well. But obviously you're going to be dropping off less tax, and we like tax as China. We like tax. You know, it's one of the few things about China that. You know, in the real world we don't like tax, but as China we love tax. And look at this, we've got a huge villager migration coming through. I'm wondering, I was going to say, I wonder what kind of time he's going to get for his second town center, but already we can see how far behind he is on something like the Anomi build order. Anomi build order would have had this town center up like 20 seconds ago. So B with a little bit of a suboptimal build order early on, maybe just playing it a little bit safer, but I guess against the Abbasid, do you really need to play that safe? But over on that north side of the map, we do see Zertan, who is definitely running an optimal build order here. Still no wheelbarrow, still no fresh... Actually, I take it back, fresh foodstuffs has come in. I'm not sure, when did you get that sneaky little fresh foodstuffs over there? Look at this. We got B, who's probably going to be dropping the town, or denying it. He tried to deny the TC. Not going to happen. Wolf going to get involved as well. B just going to scare away all these deer, but fortunately there is a nice little cliff here, which is going to make it a bit more difficult for him to do that. Vill's getting pulled away. Did he think it was a boar, maybe? Perhaps he thought it was a boar. But still trying his best to scare all these deer off. Now, remember, the deer do actually eventually... They do come back. So unless B kills them, he needs to kill the deer right now while they're far away. And then they'll stay there forever. But they will, I think they do naturally return back to their starting locations. At least that's what I've noticed with them. Really nice job, though, of just pushing this hunt away. And we can see from Zertan straight into the survival techniques as well. So really nice use of those unique not unique technologies, but of those technologies that he's got accessible to him. Those accessible technologies. So let's tune back, over on the other side of the map as we've got the second town center starting to come down now from B. Very interesting position on that second TC. You don't normally see town centers like this from China. Normally you see them a little bit further away, but I actually love this position. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because he's going onto gold. Now, the reason for anybody wondering, or maybe you're new to China, why doesn't he put the town center on the gold? He wants the town center off the gold so that he can put the mining camp down on the gold, and so he can then supervise the mining camp. You can't supervise a town center, but you can supervise a mining camp, and it increases the amount that you drop off by 20%. So instead of dropping off 15 gold, he's dropping off 18, and that's a nice little buff. When you consider that you've got 12 villagers on that, it really starts to add up. So upgrades now going to start coming through. We can see all of the upgrades he's clicking. We've got Imperial examinations. We've got survival techniques that are coming through. We've also picked up all of our +1s with the exception of specialized pick. And, of course, he picked up that nice early wheelbarrow. But now behind this, it looks like we're just going to have a bit of a passive game opening. So I hope you guys like your passive openings here. But my suspicion is when the Castle Age rolls around, these two players are going to be at absolute... I guess the term is it loggerheads? I want to say loggerheads. They're going to be smashing against each other. And it's going to be bodies that are going to be on the floor. There are going to be bodies hitting the floor. It's probably going to be a lot of Zhukunu. Maybe a lot of crossbows. I'm curious to see exactly how B looks to play it and what kind of composition that he goes. He can go into something like the Palace Guard. Obviously, it's a really strong unit and it's very quick. But against the Abbasid dynasty, they love to play that cavalry composition. So don't be surprised if he looks to try and exploit that. But have a look at this. Plenty of villagers here, still on gold that he's supervising. Yet only just crossing that threshold now for the Castle Age. Very, very recently, but we can see all of those villagers just dropping off. So I expect to see his Castle Age coming up shortly. And there we go. He's going to be throwing down the Imperial Palace on the top shelf. Look at that. Overwatch set. He'll be doing it beautifully in the middle of the map. He'll have vision to probably about this stone mine. This is about the best Imperial Palace you can get. And the fact that he's going into Imperial Palace really makes me think he might just be going Palace Guards, which work really well with this. Let's take a look in the base and see what we can spot. Nothing just yet. So no indication of exactly what he's going on to. The reason why I think Palace Guards, so Imperial Palace has a unique ability called Imperial Spies. It reveals the location of enemy workers for 10 seconds. So what you can do is utilize this landmark and its special ability to identify where are the enemy villages, and then naturally make palace guards that just chop them up for breakfast. But take a look at this in the base of B. There's no production whatsoever. Is he just going into like a Yuan dynasty or something like that? It's a little bit wild. Scout does go down, so not going to be able to spot anything. And look at the line of sight that we see from this landmark. Almost all the way to the stone mine. Meanwhile, back towards the base, it looks like a spear going to be able to chase down this scout. Military wing coming through for Zertan at the moment. We're right on board with him as he looks to stay, at least at this moment, defensive. You can see he's got these walls up on the backside, able to protect the 2 patches of berries. And remember, there's a lot of resources in here because you are playing as the Delhi. So, you know, this is 2,000 resources for a normal Civ, but for the Delhi, you're talking 2,800 resources. So it's a significant amount of food that you want to try and keep safe. And we can see that scout going to come in now, spot that wall. So he knows he needs to address it. But the age up now, coming through for Zertan. See the camels approaching, or now arriving, I guess we could say, in boot camp, comes through immediately with some specialized pick and straight into crossbows, as you would expect in this position. I can't help but feel like the natural thing for B to do was to go into those palace guards. So just going into crossbows as a default makes a lot of sense from Zertan. But perhaps B knew that crossbows were going to be on the table. So he just kind of sat back a little bit. And we do see the palace guards now coming out. It's a little bit of a delay, though, on these palace guards. So I figured that they'd be coming out a little bit sooner than this. Normally you want to try and hit the pedal to the metal really early on. So who knows exactly what the plan is here? Now, I'd be curious to know whether Zertan is aware of the Imperial Palace, because that does change the way that you play. If you know that your enemy's not going to be making siege, at least in the interim, then you can start thinking about going into a heavier mass of crossbows. Because you know, he just chopped through. And look at this, and he gets the wall on here as well. You know that he's going to be, he's so cheeky. Look at that. This is a classic B move right now. Brings a villager forward, chops through the forest, and says, actually, sir, that wall that you've got where you thought that you were safe protecting all of those berries, it's not safe anymore. Not only that, but I'm going to wall you out. So if you try and come and help out your little friends over here, you're going to have to run the long way. So really smart move there. So he's going to continue rallying out lots of palace guards here. Expect to see a blacksmith coming down soon as well. It's going to be quite key. Market thrown down as well. And let's switch over now our income, or our resources over to income. Villager number 1 is not going to go down. Manages to survive with 2 health. And towards that top side, scout just spotting out the enemy location, enemy position. And then the villager will go down before that gate gets completed. So we'll need to cancel the gate unless another villager gets sent out here. But look at the numbers coming out from B at this point. And both players really matching each other when it comes to the villager count. You can see 77 versus 74, so B only slightly behind on that second TC. Remember, in the Song Dynasty, you do gain the ability to train villagers slightly faster. I say gain the ability, but rather it's more like gaining the superpower of training these villagers slightly faster. And look at this, we've got a scout. Oh, he makes it out in just enough time. Give him a second longer and he wouldn't have made it. You do train your villagers faster. So a normal villager trains in 20 seconds, but a villager in the Song Dynasty trains in 15 seconds. So it means that technically you're sitting on the equivalent of about 2.66 town centers. And now in the middle of the map, we got a Wallalol attempt. I think he'll get this one off as well. You can see the Camel Rider. The Monk goes down, but he converts the Camel Rider. What are the chances of that second Wallalol? Not going to happen on that north side. Palace Guards managed to come through. Looks like no villagers have gone down at the moment, at least none that we saw here. I think it must have been down on this south side where there was one lost. And now those palace guards once again looping up towards the top side. Really nice crossbow mass here. Definitely not something that you can play with. And this is the consequence of not going for that early siege, or not that early siege workshop, but that early astronomical clock tower, is now you don't really have an answer to these crossbows for the moment. Obviously you can go into horsemen, but ideally you're just making lots of palace guards at this point. And you want to, this is now the point where you want to start shifting into your nest of bees. And it's not particularly easy for you to do because the landmark that you went for was the Imperial Palace. Now, there's an exception to that, and that might be the exception where you decide that you're going to start, that you're going to go into Yuan Dynasty. But we can see he's now doing a decent job just running past all the men-at-arms and just going to start chasing down the crossbows. Crossbows kiting for their life, and he's getting a pretty good surround. Look at the hits that he's getting out on top of these. They're really struggling to get away from them, and now also including the scout in the control group is going to destroy him. You can see just how terribly the pathing goes when you start including things like scouts in control groups or in movement groups, and he manages to overwhelm those crossbows crossbows. Meanwhile, at the front, we see more palace guards coming through. He's picked up plenty of the upgrades for these as well. We've already got +2 ranged armor, not to mention the melee attack, and palace guards make it through on the top side as well. More crossbows have been pulled to deal with this. He's going to be able to find it. Up to 5 work kills so far, but he's lost a lot of palace guards for it, and we can start to see that mass beginning to build. Relic getting picked up on that north side of the map. So far, it's going to be 2 in favor of Zertan, and that's going to be another relic that is picked up right there. Somewhere in the middle of the map, I suspect we see those monks running out. But a lot of idle time being caused here. Villager count even at the moment. Still in the Song dynasty for B. Not looking to head into the Yuan just yet. But continuing to apply pressure on this front. The crossbows are definitely the issue in this situation. How do you deal with this massive crossbows? If there are enough crossbows to one-shot a palace guard, that becomes the point where it's like, you really don't want to try challenging that. But it looks like that relic in the north side did actually get knocked out. And in return, B is going to be able to recapture that. Towards the south side, it looks like the boar going to get captured here by B. Don't lose the Vil. Don't lose the Vil. Vil manages to survive. Lumber camp going to be made here as well. And now that push out from Zertan is going to start happening. This is where the nest of Bs really starts becoming important, but you can see beautiful splits coming through from B. Wonderful micro here. He moves some palace guards over to the right, some over to the left, and continues to fall back, but there is a noticeable absence of a keep right here. He'd love to have a keep in this position, maybe even somewhere like this, so it's right next to the sacred site. Also covers the gold here, but it is quite open, and if this gets spotted out by Zertan, he's going to be able to apply really decent pressure here. Let's check in, though, over on the side of B. You can see that he's still in the Song dynasty at the moment, and there is a distinct lack of siege on this field. I feel like he's almost going for the no siege challenge. Does he just drop a siege workshop in this position? It could be an option for him. Instead of going into Yuan Dynasty, just going into the siege. It feels like it could be a huge mistake, though. We can now see some walls starting to come up. Little bit of a tussle going to start. Numbers are pretty decent for B. He's got 32 palace guards, but keep in mind the mass from Zertan is significantly stronger. Just those 22 crossbows make it so difficult to deal with this, because realistically, wherever they go, you cannot be. And we do see those villagers do get chased away. Looks like he still doesn't have that Yuan Dynasty just yet. So needs to throw down that astronomical clock tower to find it. Sacred site in the south going to be captured. He's already taking the one in the middle, so looking for a bit more neutral gold. We see that second relic being brought back in. He does have a third one out here somewhere. Not sure exactly where it is, and got a couple of wall segments under attack, but hold the horses. Who needs horses when you got palace guards, my friend? Look how fast these guys are just engulfing this small little group of units. Now, keep in mind that there are units all over this map right now for Zertan, but it's not going to matter because B's got all of his together in one succinct group, one specific group, trying his best to chase down the crossbow. Crossbow numbers still sitting up at about 20, but you got to wonder where all of them are. You can see he's picked up that +2 ranged, +2 melee attack at this point, and now able to just run on top of those crossbows. Who needs nest of bees when you are the bee? That is the real question. Look at the palace guards. Oh, look at the palace guards. He wants it. You know he wants it. Give it to him. Come on. He's running up towards that top side, and now B has found it. Look at that. He knows exactly where they were. There must have been berries here before or something like that. He's rallied directly to that position. Maybe he'd scattered it out with a unit or two before. But we can see those regrouping units in the middle. And there's the clock tower finally coming down. And now, ladies and gentlemen, time to get your race cars out. From 1.38 tiles of movement speed to, get this, here it comes, 3, 2, 1... 1.58, and that's not even when they're charging. When they're charging, that's going to go up even higher. You can see right now that these palace guards are like race cars. These things run as fast as a lancer, as a knight. These guys are only slightly slower than that. It's 1.62 versus 1.58. That's how close they are. And you can see the charge coming through. He goes up to, I think it was 1.94 when they're charging, and now just an absolute raiding machine. He's going to be able to find heaps of villagers on this other side if he manages to make his way around. And you can see he doesn't even care about the army at this point, just ignoring them, running through the back line like a bunch of cavalry. Still, he finds plenty of villagers here, but remember, the longer he runs, the further he gets away from those crossbows, which is the goal. And meanwhile, towards the front, he's able to push through, securing up the back line as he does it. We see the keep coming down, and B looking like an absolute madman right now, really going in for the kill. He's managed to make his way up to 120 villagers, taking out 17 enemy villagers at this point. And look at the palace guard splits coming in. One down to the south, one group down to the south, one group up to the north, and just sits them there idle. Whole bunch of vills now going to be looking to escape. 22 vills down on the south side, and there is action non-stop this game. It is absolutely crazy. Keep now going to be exposed and say, hey guys, yeah, we're here. Gets already some really good values, taking out 3 units. So Keep pretty much paid for itself by this point. Isn't the keep just an amazing unit? These things pay for themselves so quickly, man. You can't ignore these keeps. They are too damn strong. But anyway, let's move on. Let's check in with the base of B and see how he's doing. So an interesting thing to note is we don't have granaries coming out from B. He's focusing exclusively on mills. So we can see 7. He's got what looks like 7 here. And then we've got 9 over here. So it's really just a whole bunch of mills with no focus whatsoever on the granaries, which is really interesting. I guess they are more centralized when you do go for the granaries. So you do have to be quite careful with them. But now over towards that west side, more units beginning to come out. We see another keep placed on the large gold vein. It's going to be the gold vein on the opposite side of the map, though. So we've got Zerton contesting it. Really key that players look to try and establish control of these large gold veins as early as they possibly can. And that's exactly what Zerton's looked to do here. You know what? I just realized how he knows where all the villagers are. He's using the Imperial Spies ability. That reveals where the villagers are, so you can just chase them around. But now going to be running in underneath the town center. A lot of crossbows here. You can't fight this amount of crossbows. Way too many. You just got to keep on moving. And now we see the culture wing coming through for Zerton. Now, this is actually a really difficult spot right now for B, because one of his win conditions is getting to Imperial before his enemy. And you can see that Zerton's technically not maxed at this point. So he may have jumped the gun a little bit too early. We'll have to see whether that goes against the grain or whether that goes against his game plan here or not. Because B is just going to continue the flood. You can see that he's having to go around these walls here. Villager did get taken out, and you can see that he's sieging something down. He's sieging down this front gate, and he's run all the way around. He's gone all the way around that. Okay, fair enough. I'll take it. Palace Guard numbers continuing to build, and now Nesta Bees finally coming through. Going to be throwing Nesta Bees down. No, not at the clock tower. Excuse me, where are your Nesta Bees? He's got 2 of them out on the field, apparently. Maybe he's already made them. And you can see these Palace Guards just camping back here, looking for any kind of villagers that they can take out. Are going to get cornered. At least an attempt to get cornered. You can see him trying to escape, spreading them out into all the different spots here. And now Palace Guard's moving up towards that north side. Imperial Age on the way. Now B would have scouted this, okay? Or at least he should have scouted this. And more Palace Guards running into the front. How is Zerton holding this? This is ludicrous. Sacred Site on that south side has been neutralized and now starting to get captured by Zerton. So there's no real threat of that sacred victory. Nesta Bees just sacrificing themselves right now. You guys got to be careful right here. You guys are Nesta Bees, but you're not that strong. He's still focusing it down though. Could get some decent shots here off on the villagers. Is he not going to see it? He's not going to spot it. Now he reallocates. Villagers jump back inside, and he's going to be able to pick off the Nesta Bees. A little bit of a mistake here from B, losing 600 resources right there of siege units. Meanwhile, back towards the base, Bee's got 53, 51 Palace Guards still, but now counterattacks coming through. B's under pressure. Age up comes through from Zerton, and now B is going to be scrambling to try and match the age up. You can see the resources he's got in the bank, though. He's got so many options here when it comes to going towards the Imperial Age. Does he look to hold with something like the Great Wall Gatehouse, or does he go into something like the Spirit Way? Look at this, advanced stone walls coming up, really trying to keep B in the base, trying to take control of this map, because he's been dealing with raid after raid after raid, and he's pulling his hair out at this point, the poor guy. B now sitting on 188 population, close to maxing out, still yet to click that Imperial button and getting chased down. The Nesta Bee's gonna pop out. Nesta Bees! Nesta Bees! Nesta Bees! Somebody stop them! Nesta Bees! No, not like this! And now they turn around and it's like, hello. Oh, God. Oh, that could have been amazing, but it wasn't. Springwood's now looking to take out the Nesta Bees from point blank. He's not going to find it, though. Elite crossbows come through. B needs to get Imperial, and he needed to get Imperial yesterday. This is a little bit concerning, but we see the forward Great Wall Gatehouse coming in. Look how many vills he's brought with this. The stone wall's gone down. He can put a huge amount of pressure from this angle. Down towards the south side, though. Those elite crossbows are just causing havoc inside the base of B. He's going to try and clean that up. He's found a little bit of a way through. And now on that backside, the Great Wall Gatehouse is going to continue to come up. Remember, this is an incredibly difficult landmark to deal with. If this does get up, and you can see Zerton's going to spot it right now, he's going to try and shoot through. We'll be able to start taking out villagers, but there's more than enough here. I think B will probably get Imperial with it. A little bit of a surround coming in over on the wood line. Looks like the crossbows will be going the way of the Dodo. Meanwhile, down towards the south, B says, "You will not wall me in, friend. I wall you in." Well, he didn't really wall him in. He just prevented all the walls from coming down. So definitely the right choice here. But now we've got a whole bunch more Palace Guards coming in from this south side. Nest of Bees on the wall. It's going to be the Great Wall Gatehouse coming through and just dishing out that damage. You know we got to get a picture of this one on the thumbnail. It is a sight to behold right there. But now towards the middle of the map, it looks like things are starting to break even at this point. My main concern is, where do you go from here as the Chinese? Now that your enemy's got Imperial, and they got Imperial before you, they're going to have Roller Shutter Trigger Springled coming through. At least they should have it coming through very, very soon. You can see him diving the Springled right now, but this is always... apologies for hitting the microphone right there. I'm getting too excited over here. Boiling Oil still on the way through. He's doing a decent job of culling the numbers here. Battering Ram's going to be moving forward. He's got the Nest of Bees in. So definitely wants to capitalize with the Nest of Bees, but the thing you've got to be so careful of is look at the crossbows. The crossbows are just doing so much damage in this position, and now the Nest of Bees will be exposed. A whole bunch of men-at-arms going to be in here up towards that top side. I don't even think it's going to matter at this point. The Great Wall Gatehouse hasn't really been able to achieve much. First of the Nest of Bees go down, and now Bees just lost everything. He's gone from 0 to hero, or rather from hero to 0 in the space of like in less than a minute. He had 50 Palace Guards out, and now all of a sudden he's lost them. Zertan somehow, under all this pressure, maintains his cool. How did he do it? How did he possibly do it? There was so much pressure coming out from B. I've never seen Palace Guards like that before. You're literally talking about a raid god. That is a raid boss right there. 3DB is a genuine raid boss. That is what we just witnessed. A madman who raided so much, and yet somehow Zertan held on. But look at this. B going to be going into Spirit Way. There's no way he's going for Grenadiers right now. Why is he going into Spirit Way? He has to be going for Grenadiers? Really? You think Grenadiers are going to save you right now against this size of an army? Zertan's army's massive. I guess he's got a pretty decent economy though behind this, B does. So he could look to potentially hold it. The problem that you're going to have are those hand cannoneers now coming through. Plenty of damage on these guys, and you can see with the front line, with these men-at-arms just tanking up, they've got their boot camp upgrades through. More raids going to be coming in. We're right on board with Zertan, and you can see he is in every single corner of this base right now. On the front line, on the back line, over towards the west, down on the south, he's back here. He is everywhere, and B is just getting attack alarms everywhere. We hear behind the scenes he's deleting something, probably deleting villages because he's got so many. He's having a field day. And now B, he's going to look for Grenadiers, I'm assuming. No, Fire Lancers. He's going for Fire Lancers. He's going to go for a snipe attempt. B going to try for a snipe attempt right now. Where are the stables? Where are the stables? They've got to be on the front line. Surely they're going to be somewhere. Where is he going for them? He's got 15 in queue. Is it just, oh, he's just got 5 stables and he's just got 3 in queue. There's the Fire Lancers coming out now. Wallow attempt in the middle. Not going to be able to find it. Fire Lancers do connect. Holding on for dear life at this point. Trying his best to keep the head above water. Relic going to be thrown back in the pagoda for the moment. And the monk out here saying, "You shall not pass." But I don't think that's how it works, little monk friend. You're not as powerful as the White Wizard. We'll say that much. Meanwhile, on that back line, B is starting to bleed villagers. Take a look at that. 71 villagers killed. He finally crosses the threshold. Zertan has now killed more villagers than what B did. He's been sitting in his base for so long. He's starting to farm them the same way that the Chinese villagers have been farming this rice all game. And now those numbers of Fire Lancers. Now, keep in mind, he doesn't actually have the elite upgrades yet, so going up against these units without those elite upgrades is definitely a bit torturous here. Meanwhile, towards the center of the map, we can see that the Great Wall Gatehouse is essentially doing nothing. There's a couple units that occasionally run through the middle that get caught on it, but other than that, it hasn't really achieved much. Could you imagine the difference had it been placed here in this central location? It might have been a really solid defense that B could have put in, but now with 1/12 of the size of the army that his enemies got, it looks like there's absolutely no chance that he brings this one out. I feel like the key here was that B needed to hit a faster Imperial timing, and we just didn't see it. Once he gets Imperial, he can get those elite upgrades in and roll over the top of his enemy, but it's not going to matter today, fellas. I'm going to leave a link in the description of where you can watch the Elite Classic live this weekend. I want you to go check it out because I got a feeling it might even be live right now, so go say good day for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.